What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the Morbid Files. I'm your host, Tex, and tonight I have a friend of mine here, and that is none the other, Robert Leuthold. Robert, welcome.
Hello, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good tonight. I've been binging on horror movies all day to kind of prepare for this.
Heck yeah,
I've
man.
done my horror homework.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, well, if you don't mind, for the viewers that might not know who you are, can you tell a little bit about who you are and everything?
Depending on who your viewers might know me as, I might be that asshole. Otherwise known as Gimp Pimp von Spookula, Hell on Wheels, Leuthold, or just plain old Rob. I am, much as you are, a member of the Church of Satan, and I'm also a very major horror movie enthusiast.
Awesome. Very nice, very nice. Well, I guess let's just go ahead and get into it because I don't have any notes tonight. We're just kind of going to flow with it.
Sure.
And just
let's
enjoy ourselves, man. Talking about what we love, some horror movies.
Let's start with a series or a franchise that you can really identify with. And I watched your interview with my dear friend David M. Harris on the same subject, the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Yes. Let's talk about it, man.
I actually watched a documentary, Never Sleep Again, earlier today. Do you have that?
I don't have it. I've seen it.
It's streaming on Netflix.
Yeah, that's where I've seen it. I've watched it 2 or 3 times, to be honest. I mean, it's long as hell, but some great stuff in there.
Yeah, with everything they put in there, it's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's a lot of details that, a lot of things I didn't even know as being a fan, and after watching that, I was like, wow, didn't even know that.
And there's actually a book out now. It's on my desk right here, based on the documentary. It's like $10 on Amazon in paperback.
Never Sleep Again?
Yeah.
The white one?
Uh-huh.
I got it too. Yep.
Figured you would.
Yep. So yeah, well, talking about it, which one is your favorite besides the original?
Well, let's see. I actually have 3.
Okay.
The original, Dream Warriors, and the New Nightmare.
Yeah. Dream Warriors is probably one of my favorites.
Dream Warriors was actually where I got interested in the franchise. See, I'm going to be dating myself by saying this, but it came out when I was in the 6th grade.
Right.
And everyone was like, Freddy is just so awesome. Everyone wanted to be Freddy, and
oh yeah,
there were costumes everywhere for Halloween. And I've always really liked that one, and no, it's not because of the kid in the wheelchair, but you know, but no, that's where the dreams really started to get more inventive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also unfortunately where the black comedy started to come in. And I think they went too far with it at a certain point. Because, I mean, a lot of fans don't like Nightmare on Elm Street 2.
Right.
For whatever reason. But if you look at the first 2, Freddy's still more in the shadows. You don't see him much.
Right.
Still scary. He's not as much of a Joker as he became in the later films.
Right.
And what Craven did with New Nightmare, he actually said, if you remember in the documentary, he went back and he watched all the sequels and he's like, there's no way I can make any sense of this at all.
Right. Yeah. I enjoyed New Nightmare. I thought the way Wes Craven did that was just freaking genius.
I think it was a great way to end the series.
Yeah. Now, did you like Freddy versus Jason?
Actually, it was good for what we got.
Yeah.
It was good for what we got because it was in development hell for over 10 years.
Yeah. Now, staying on the subject on the Nightmare on Elm Street, Robert, how do you feel about the remakes that are coming and people talking about? I mean, even what's his name?
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon even talking about, he would be interested in playing Freddy. What's your thoughts on that?
All right, since we are talking about the remake, first let's talk about the Platinum Dunes remake that everyone hates.
The 2010, yeah.
Yeah. I actually like that remake, and I'll explain why.
Yeah.
It touched on the one thing that Wes Craven wanted to do in the original, but they decided not to because of the McMartin preschool trials at the time. The child molester angle.
Right.
That just made Freddy even more despicable.
Yeah.
In the remake. I mean, it made my skin crawl.
Yeah.
Especially, like, in the last part of the film where they find his hidden room with the Polaroids and everything. Yeah. Didn't that just kind of give you, like, a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Especially me, too, of having kids. I mean... Yeah,
and
it was one of those.
That's where it succeeded.
Yeah, I think a lot of people didn't like the remake was only if people were honest with themselves or with others is because it wasn't Robert Englund playing Freddy.
Yeah,
I think that because the rest of the movie, in my opinion, was great. The other actors and actresses in it did a really good job. And I'm on the same train where I'm really spoiled when it comes to Freddy. I'm a huge Robert Englund fan.
And I understand that too.
Yeah. So.
But like David said, and I'm gonna kind of reiterate, at Robert Englund's age, he just can't do it anymore.
Oh yeah.
And I think Jackie Earle Haley did a really good job with what he had to work with.
Yeah. Do you think they should keep doing the remakes, or do you think they should just let Freddy be dead?
Well, my view on this is, and I've really changed my view on remakes over the years. Okay, so it's not the version we remember, but the good point of a remake is, sure, it's a remake, but it might have people get interested in the original films. It'll lead to a Blu-ray re-release special edition of the original film.
That's actually a good point. Yeah.
So why not go with it?
Yeah, definitely a good point. Now, and two, with remakes, especially like with the Nightmare on Elm Street, which were great. I mean, they didn't have the CGIs and all of that stuff.
Right. Which,
in my opinion, made it better.
Yeah.
Because, like, if you could tell with the remake of the 2010 remake when, Freddy comes out of the wall with Nancy, that was CGI with the remake.
Yeah.
But the original...
They like, used a sheet of... some type of sheet of saran wrap or something for the original, didn't they?
Yeah, I think so, And
like that.
Just you could tell the difference, too.
Yeah. I'm kind of old school. I do prefer practical effects myself, so I'm with you on that.
Right, yeah. So, did you enjoy the part 2? You mentioned, a lot of people don't like it, which is probably my least favorite. But
part 2, for what it was good.
Right.
Of course, everyone brings up the gay subtext and everything else.
Yeah, you see what David said.
It is what it is.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the actor Mark Patton was gay. a couple of members on the crew were gay. So obviously, if you look at it, there's going to be the subtext. But so what? You get to see Freddy kill people for an hour and a half.
Right, right. Well, you mentioned now Dream Warriors. You mentioned, you know, it wasn't because of the guy in the wheelchair, Robert. But
Yeah. Yeah.
if you could have a special power in your dreams, would it have been a wizard?
Probably.
Probably. Awesome, awesome.
I've played too much D&D over the years.
Very nice, very nice. Well, if one more thing, and then we'll move on from the Nightmare on Elm Street. But which one would you say is your least favorite?
5.
5. Yeah.
Dream Child. It's too much of a morality tale, even though it does kind of further Alice's story arc from part 4.
Yeah.
It's just leaning too heavy on the teenage pregnancy and abortion angle.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Very true. Awesome. Well, moving on. Let's talk about another franchise, the Halloween franchise.
Halloween.
Yeah, Michael Myers.
Believe it or not, I'm of the minority that loves Season of the Witch.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like you too. I mean, I know a lot of fans of the Halloween franchise hated, you know, Season of the Witch. But I really enjoyed it for what it was. You know, I mean, some of the parts were kind of goofy, you know.
I like it simply because, you know, they tried to go in a different direction.
Yeah, I like that, yeah. I would have to say my favorite would probably be The Curse of Michael Myers. Would probably be
Have you seen the producer's cut of that?
I have not, no.
It's available on Blu-ray now.
Really? Okay, I have to check that out.
And, of course, there's a massive box set of all of them.
Yeah. Did you enjoy the Rob Zombie remakes?
Yeah, actually I did.
I did too. I know a lot of fans too hated those.
His first one. The second one confused the hell out of me.
Yeah, the second one, to me, yeah, same way, because it kind of got out there a little bit with, you know, I guess going back to his mom and the way she was appearing to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of... So, yeah, man. Well, Robert, take us back, if you can, to, I guess, what would have been the first horror movie you ever saw that kind of got you into?
The first horror movie?
Yeah.
That's hard to say because I come from the time period where the local stations would have like the creature features on Saturday afternoons.
Mm-hmm.
And I got started with like the Hammer horror, the classic films, all of the Christopher Lee Draculas, and the one that really stuck out to me was Dracula AD 1972. That's one of my favorites.
Right. Awesome.
This very day.
I think, too, with the creature features in them, you know, like Wolfman and the Mummy and all that.
Yeah.
A lot of the generation now, the younger generation, has no clue, you know, about those, really.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of goes back to what you said with remakes. You know, if people started doing the remakes of those, it would kind of take the younger generation back to going back, well, let me check out the original, and it kind of open their eyes to that. So.
And now with like all of the streaming horror, you know, because like there's Shudder, there's Screambox, there's even Netflix has a decent selection these days.
Yeah, yeah. Some are some kind of crazy, but on Netflix.
Yeah.
I was looking today, I think it was on Hulu, and it was like The Curse or something of the Gingerbread Man.
Oh yeah, the Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah, Ginger Dead Man. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Full Moon Features. So you know they've also got a series called Evil Bong. So
yeah,
there you go.
I've seen that. I never watched them, but I've seen the little things on the Hulu. I think it was with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, awesome. Well, they're remaking the Blair Witch. Did you see that? Or kind of a sequel to the Blair Witch?
And this is where I go off on a tangent. The Blair Witch ripped off Cannibal Holocaust. End of story.
Right.
Have you ever seen Cannibal Holocaust?
Parts of it.
Now, that movie is very controversial because it has on-screen animal cruelty, but for the most part, it furthers the plot.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not senseless killing, and, you know, that film and Cannibal Ferox, the underlying lesson is the civilized people were worse than the cannibals were.
Yeah.
Because that's the only reason the cannibals attacked these people is because they were provoked.
Right. Now, I mean, maybe, I don't know if you can answer it, but, you know, with the organization we're a part of, didn't the Blair Witch or something contact them or something?
I believe Magus Gilmore said that was for Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows.
Okay, yeah.
But none of that was used.
Right, yeah. Well, how did you feel about The Witch?
I didn't even see it.
Yeah, me and my girlfriend watched it, and personally, we didn't like it at all. There was a lot of people out there that loved it, but for us, it was so slow, and we couldn't get into it. So.
You know, I mean, people will watch what they want to watch, but knowing, you know, who was behind it, I had no interest.
Well, yeah. We'll leave that there. So, yeah. Awesome, man. Well, now, we were mentioning before we started recording, you were talking about some Italian horror films.
Yes.
That I am pretty much clueless about.
Of course.
So I'm going to let you kind of take over here and kind of talk about it.
Of course, you know, Suspiria. Dario Argento is one of the masters of his craft. Suspiria is very dreamlike, very nightmare-like. There's a scene where maggots rain down from the ceiling. There's a lot of violence in that film.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to give too much away from that film or the 2 sequels to it, which comprise the Three Mothers trilogy.
And what's it called again, you said?
Suspiria, and the sequels are Inferno and Mother of Tears.
Okay.
Mother of Tears stars Argento's daughter, Asia, and Cradle of Filth is on that soundtrack, so...
Oh, wow.
You might enjoy it.
Yeah, very nice.
But with Argento, it's kind of hit and miss. Same as with a lot of the other Italian directors.
Mm-hmm.
But I really enjoyed Tenebrae, which is definitely a giallo piece. And giallo are murder mysteries, usually. There's a lot of graphic violence. There's a lot of red herrings. And with Argento in particular, there's an impairment of the senses in some way.
Okay.
Like, for example, in Deep Red, the main character sees something, and then when he looks again, it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
See, his eyes are playing tricks on him. It's the same thing with Tenebrae. You know, there's twists and turns, and you notice I'm not giving anything away these films. And also, we have Mario Bava, who did Twitch of the Death Nerve, a.k.a. Bay of Blood, which influenced a lot of the slasher films.
Okay.
With all of its graphic, over-the-top violence.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, and then there's my favorite Italian director, Lucio Fulci.
Okay.
You might have seen a couple of his movies not knowing what they were. Mm-hmm. Zombie 2, otherwise known as Zombie in the States.
Okay. Yeah.
It was known as Zombie 2 in Italy because it was meant as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Zombie 2 features the infamous zombie versus shark scene. And like I
Right.
posted a couple of weeks ago when I was watching it,
Mm-hmm.
things you learn from Zombie 2. If you're female and you go scuba dive topless, you'll attract a shark, but a zombie will fight it off. Zombies can only be killed by a shot through the eye.
Wow.
The thing with a lot of Fulci films, and he was kind of known as the king of the eyeball gag, because in most of his horror films, something happens where someone gets something done to their eye. Like in Zombie 2, the zombies are shot and their eyes like pop out. And you see the eye kind of hanging by the stalk. And, you know, there's the infamous splinter in the eye scene later in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And the violence in a lot of Fulci's films, and he actually said, violence is Italian art. It's very, very over the top. Like, there's a sequence in The Beyond, aka Seven Doors of Death.
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely recommend you go for the original The Beyond, because the Seven Doors of Death is incredibly edited down. There's a sequence in The Beyond where a guy gets his face ripped apart by tarantulas.
Wow.
So, you know, very high on violence, low on understandable plot, but fun nonetheless.
Yeah, heck yeah, definitely. Now, with the Italian films that you're talking about, are they in English, or is it like subtitles?
Most of them are dubbed.
Okay.
In the case of House by the Cemetery, hilariously so.
All right, awesome. I'll definitely have to check some of them out. So.
Yeah, and I found out about Fulci's films and everything else because I listened to the death metal band Mortician, and they use a lot of horror movie samples as intros or outros to their songs, which are at most maybe like 30 seconds to a minute in length. So,
nice. Cool, man. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check some of them out. We're kind of moving on. I know we're kind of all over the place, but that's all right. Another guy, Stephen King, with his horror films, which now I would have to say it's not really a horror film, I don't guess, but The Stand. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yes, I have, and I read the expanded version of the book.
Really?
Yeah.
That's probably one of my favorite Stephen King movies, besides It.
Yeah, which is actually being made into a movie instead of it being a TV miniseries. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with it, because I think they can do a lot more than what they were allowed to do with ABC.
Did you see the pictures of it?
Yes,
of the clown
I did.
that they're going?
Yeah,
I have to say it looks pretty cool.
It looks creepy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Pennywise in the original one, I mean, of course, was creepy. But the new one they're doing, I think, it's freaking creepy.
Yeah. I will say that Tim Curry did bring his very unique acting energy to the role of Pennywise.
Right.
You know, I'm going to appreciate this new version for what it is and not compare it to... It's kind of like, you know, you take the Kubrick version of Stephen King's The Shining and then you compare it to the miniseries that was done all those years later with Tim Daly from Wings.
Yeah.
You really can't compare.
Right.
And I think Stephen King actually preferred the version with Tim Daly.
Really?
He infamously hated what Kubrick did to his film.
Yeah.
His book, rather.
Yeah, I've kind of had to get that attitude, like you said, you know, go in with no expectations with remakes, meaning
Yeah.
Going back especially like with the Nightmare on Elm Streets and stuff.
Yeah.
I've had to kind of get that in my head where, you know what, Robert Englund's not coming back. So, if someone could, that takes it serious, the role serious, I think they could do a great job of playing a Freddy.
Yeah. That's what I had to do with the Friday the 13th remake.
Right.
I went to see that in theaters, and initially I hated it. I
Really?
ripped on it. I called it Harold and Kumar Go to Crystal Lake. I fucking hated it.
Right.
And then I went back to it a few years later with an open mind, and I'm like, this is good.
Yeah. Now, with slasher films, is Friday the 13th franchise your favorite out of all, like between Halloween and Nightmare?
That's a tough call. It all depends on my mood. If I had to pick any iconic horror franchise aside from Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, I would lean more towards Hellraiser and Phantasm.
Wow, yeah, great choice. Yeah. I think, I know a lot of the younger generations, but when it comes to Phantasm, they know nothing about it.
I don't know if you could tell, but I'm really excited for Phantasm Ravager.
Oh, yeah.
The fifth one that's coming out.
Right, yeah. We got this store here in our town, and it's kind of a used book and DVD store. And they have some of the Phantasm DVDs. And they're used, and they're like $40 to $50 used.
Don't spend the money because all of the films are getting re-released on Blu-ray once Ravager comes out.
Really? Okay, cool. That'd be very nice. How do you feel about the Friday the 13th game that's coming? I know you post a lot about it.
It would push me to buy a next-gen system. I like it. I like the idea that you're going to be able to play as Jason.
Yeah.
Many of the different versions of Jason, like the Richard Booker version from Part 3 and so on and so forth, which I think is great.
Right. Out of the Friday the 13th, and you're probably going to laugh, but my favorite is Jason Goes to Hell. I loved how they did that. And
I can see that.
And then at the end, of course, when Freddy's glove comes up and grabs the mat.
Do you know the backstory on that?
No.
In that scene, do you know who's actually playing Freddy?
Is not Robert Shea?
No.
Who is it?
It's actually Kane Hodder.
It was Kane? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I did hear that. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Cool. Yeah, when I saw that, because, I don't know, I guess it kind of sounds silly, but it's like goosebumps up my spine when I saw it.
Yeah, it was like a setup for
and then,
Jason.
Right, and then after that, you were waiting. Yeah.
I had fun watching Jason X, because that was just so much fun.
Yeah, that was pretty good. It's funny. So, well, more about Wes Craven. Did you enjoy the Screams franchise?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I did too. Have you seen the TV show?
No, I have not.
Yeah. We watched, because, again, it's on Netflix, and I watched the very first episode, and I just...
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say it's bad or not, because I just watched the first one, but for me, the first, it was just, I don't know, so...
Speaking of Wes Craven, I actually watched Last House on the Left earlier today.
The original?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
And it's still hard to stomach.
Yeah.
Like
the remake too. Especially when they're in the woods, the rape scene it's kind of crazy. Yeah. It's gruesome.
And I'm actually going to be watching I Spit on Your Grave, the original, later on.
Very nice. Very nice. Trying to think of the Wes Craven movie. Serpent and the Rainbow. Did you see that?
I've seen that, but not all the way through. But I do know that Screen Factory put out a deluxe edition of that on Blu-ray.
Right, nice. Yeah, I like
Which
that.
happens, to be on my Amazon wish list.
Yeah. One movie I have not seen by Wes Craven, that's Shocker.
I saw that on VHS. My mom actually rented it for me and watched it with me. My mom definitely had a lot to do with me getting into Stephen King and horror movies in general.
Right.
She's still kind of into them, although not so much.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. What's your favorite Stephen King movie, if you have to pick?
Stephen King movie?
Yeah.
Silver Bullet.
Yeah.
And the original Salem's Lot.
Okay, yeah. Very nice. Well, did you like any of the Grudge movies?
I saw the English versions with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to watch the Japanese originals.
I've heard those are a lot more freaky and they'll creep you out even more.
Same thing with the Ring movies as well.
Yeah. I enjoyed the Ring movies a lot. I definitely enjoyed them. So, very cool, man. How do you feel about the zombie kind of movement now? It's like every year or every couple of years they go from vampires, then they go back to the zombies. Everybody's loving the zombies. And they go all the way back again to the vampires.
Well, for me, I don't follow a lot of the modern zombie movies.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
For me, it's like Romero. Okay. And, maybe Shaun of the Dead and 28 Days Later.
Right.
And then there's, I think this one's out of Ireland, called Boy Eats Girl.
I've never heard of that.
And then, well, there are a pair of movies out of Norway, and they're on Netflix. Okay. Red Snow.
Red Snow?
Yes. Okay. I mean, Dead Snow.
Dead Snow?
Yeah. Norwegian Nazi zombies. Okay.
Wow. It's kind of like, I think it's Zombie Beaver or Beaver Zombies or something.
Zombiever.
Yeah. I'm meaning to watch that, and I just want to watch it just to see what the fuck it's about.
Same thing. It's like I saw that, I'm like, I just have to watch it.
Right.
This has got to be under the "it's so bad it's good" category.
Yeah.
I really haven't gotten into a lot of the modern horror movies. I will say that I did like the first two Hostel films.
Yeah, I enjoyed
that. And I enjoyed Saw, even though it got a little tedious towards about the midpoint. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed Cabin Fever.
Really? You like that one?
The first one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
No pun intended, but that movie really makes your skin crawl. I mean, like that infamous, finger bang misfire scene.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. Did you enjoy the Wrong Turn series? I mean, there's I think 5 or 6 of them out, right? Or more.
Really never watched any of those.
Right.
I never really did. But like I said, I don't watch a lot of modern horror. I like movies like The Howling, American Werewolf in London. Of course, The Wolfman. I did enjoy the Wolfman remake for what it was worth. Because, I mean, come on. Anthony fucking Hopkins.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And, speaking of, Bram Stoker's Dracula was fucking awesome.
Yeah, that one was good. That was real good. Did you ever see Frankenstein? I think it's Robert De Niro.
With Robert De Niro and Kenneth Branagh? Yeah. Yes, I did. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, and that came out on the heels of the buzz that was generated by Bram Stoker's Dracula. It didn't do as well, but I thought it was very well done.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Awesome, man. Well, Robert, I want to finish up with, I guess, with the Rob Zombie horror films that he does. The Devil's Rejects, House of a Thousand Corpses, and
Yes.
he's got 31 coming out, which I'm interested in seeing. I've seen the trailer to it. It looks pretty good. I mean, of course, it's got the Rob Zombie all over it, you know.
Right.
But yeah, how did you feel about Devil's Rejects and House of a Thousand Corpses?
All I have to say about that is Tutti fucking fruity.
Tutti fucking fruity. Hell yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Actually, as a more in-depth answer, yes, I really enjoyed both of those films. I mean, a lot of the dialogue, especially from Devil's Rejects, is quite quotable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I am the devil and I'm here to do the devil's work.
Right. Yep. Yep.
You know, Sid Haig and Bill Moseley are both wonderful, wonderful actors for the genre, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
And I know that you already know this. Sid Haig was also in Spider Baby, which is a very, very old film.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, I have, definitely, yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen Bill Moseley in Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, yeah.
Lick my plate, you dog dick.
Had the damn wire hanger scratching his fucking head. Yeah, great movies. Great movies. Did you see Lords of Salem?
No, I didn't.
It's all right. It's all right.
Not his best, but
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it went as well as he thought or hoped, I guess.
yeah.
So.
Well, I did enjoy the animated feature he did, The Haunted World of El Super Beasto.
I've never seen that. I've never seen it.
You need to pick that DVD up.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Awesome.
You want me to give you the quick rundown on that one?
Go ahead.
Imagine, if you will, Rob Zombie directing an episode of Scooby-Doo.
Wow. You know, a lot of people give Rob Zombie hell, you know, no pun intended, but for making these horror movies and stuff and saying that he's, you know, it's no good, blah, blah, blah. But I think he does a great job. He brings a different approach to them, even with the Halloweens. I mean, he kind of went back and kind of gave you the backstory of Michael.
Yeah, which you really don't see.
Right.
In the original franchise, and here we go again, in the original franchise, the most you see of Michael's backstory is when he kills his sister at the beginning of the first one, and that's it.
That's it, yeah. Yep.
I mean, you see him spending some time in the asylum, and then he breaks out, and that's it.
Right. Yeah,
Up until Halloween H2O, which was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Yeah. Did you know in H2O the older lady, she is the one from Psycho. She's
Yeah.
And that was the original car that she was standing at from Psycho that she was driving.
Yeah.
So.
Now, that was the only remake I did not like. I did not like that Gus Van Sant tried to do a shot-for-shot remake of Hitchcock's Psycho.
Right.
I prefer the original.
Yeah, I like the original. I like the original a lot. Was it Vince Vaughn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. The only thing I remember about the remake is Vince Vaughn looking through the little fucking peephole and fucking jacking off.
I mean, it was implied in the original that Norman was a peeping Tom, and that's really all we needed.
Right, yeah.
We didn't need it to go that far.
Yeah, they went a little... yeah. But.
I guess before we do wrap it up, I mean, I'm a huge fan of trauma movies as well, you know, like Toxic Avenger, Class of Nukem High.
Yeah.
Those are just fun.
All right. Did you want to talk about any of those?
No, I think we've covered a lot of material tonight, and
Yeah.
if we keep going, that could be
I mean,
another 2 hours.
yeah, we could talk all night. I mean,
Yeah.
different things. So yeah. Well, Robert, man, seriously, thank you again for being on the show.
Of course.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure having you. And just if anybody wants more information on you, or questions about horror movies or anything, where can they find you?
On my Facebook, which you can link in the video description if you want.
Definitely.
And if you'd like, I can give you some links to some of the movies and whatnot for, or different resources, whatever you'd like, I can just
Yeah, definitely.
send me away.
Yeah, we'll definitely get some of the Italian films that you mentioned tonight.
Okay.
Some of the links. So I'm definitely wanting to see those. All right. Well, Robert, thank you again, man. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for this show. And you know the deal. Until next time, stay safe.